All right, let's talk generative AI. It's moving so fast, and if you're a leader, you're probably feeling the pressure to keep up. But where do you even begin? Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to cut through all that noise. We'll break down the core tech and, most importantly, give you a practical strategy you can actually use. Let's dive in. So, this is the question, right? Gen AI is here. Do you have a plan? It's really not about if this is going to change your business anymore. It's about how you're going to lead through that change. To really harness this power, you need a clear strategy. And by the time we're done here, you're going to have the framework to build exactly that.
Okay, but before we jump into strategy, we've got to be speaking the same language, right? So let's start by demystifying some of these buzzwords. We're going to build a really solid foundation so we can all move forward with confidence.
So, what is generative AI really? At its heart, it's totally different from other AI you might be used to. It doesn't just analyze data that's already there, it actually creates something brand new. And what's so revolutionary is its power to work with different kinds of media. We're talking text, images, sound, even code, sometimes all from just one single instruction. So you might be asking yourself, okay, what's actually powering this incredible creative ability? Well, the answer is something called a foundation model. You can think of this as the engine that's driving this entire revolution. So think of a foundation model as this huge, general-purpose brain. Seriously, it's been trained on an unbelievable amount of diverse data, basically a huge chunk of the internet, books, you name it. And all that training makes it this super flexible and adaptable starting point for a ton of different tasks. These three features right here are what make foundation models such a game changer. First, because they're trained on so much diverse data, they have this broad understanding of the world. Their flexibility means they are definitely not one-trick ponies. But for your business, the real magic is their adaptability. You can take all that general knowledge and then fine-tune it with your own company data. You're basically turning it into a specialized expert just for you. Okay, so we have this powerful engine. How do we actually steer it? That's where prompting comes in. It's just how we talk to the model, by giving it clear, specific instructions. You know, a really well-written prompt is the difference between getting a generic, kind of useless response and getting the exact marketing email, piece of code, or project summary you were looking for. All right, that's enough theory for now. Let's make this stuff concrete. We can actually see these concepts in action right now, inside an ecosystem that a lot of us are already using every single day. And a perfect real-world example of one of these powerful foundation models is Google's Gemini. It's the engine that's running behind the scenes for many of the new AI features you're starting to see pop up in their products. And this is a brilliant example of how one single foundation model can be used in so many different ways. You've got the Gemini app for consumers, right? Then you have Gemini for Workplace, which integrates it right into the tools you use for work, like Docs and Sheets. And then there's the big one, the enterprise-level power of Gemini for Google Cloud. Okay, but this brings us to the key question for any leader. It's one thing to use a tool right out of the box, but how do you take this incredible technology and really adapt it for your company's unique data, your specific processes, and your biggest needs? And that is exactly where a platform like Vertex AI comes in. The best way to think about it is like a workshop where you get to customize the engine. It's what lets your business take a powerful foundation model like Gemini and securely train it on your own private data. Then you can build custom AI applications that are perfectly tuned to solve your specific business challenges. Okay, so now that we've got a handle on the what, it's time to talk about the how. We're shifting gears now, moving away from just the tech itself and into the strategic thinking you need to turn these powerful tools into real, genuine business transformation. So when it comes to building an AI strategy, you usually see two approaches. There's the top-down approach, where leadership sets this grand vision and decides on the big strategic priorities. And then there's the bottom-up approach. This is where employees on the front lines are experimenting, finding practical uses, and giving feedback on what actually works in the real world. But here's the secret. The companies that are really succeeding don't pick one or the other. They do both. The magic really happens when you combine that high-level vision from leadership with the practical, on-the-ground innovation coming from your teams. So how do you actually put that combined approach into practice? Well, you do it with a strategy built on these 6 pillars, which really work like a continuous cycle. It all starts with a sharp focus on real business value. Don't just go chasing shiny objects. From there, you have to encourage exploration, letting your teams experiment and collaborate freely. But, and this is crucial, you have to build all of this on a foundation of responsible AI to make sure everything is safe and trustworthy right from day one. Okay, with that in place, you commit the resourcing you need, the right data, tools, and people. Then you absolutely have to measure the impact to prove the value and get everyone on board. And finally, you close the loop with continuous improvement, using what you learned to make your solutions even better, which, you guessed it, feeds right back into your focus for the next big thing. So let's get to the bottom line. Once you have that strategy in place, what are the actual business outcomes you can expect? Well, generative AI unlocks value in 4 really powerful ways. First up, it can summarize. Just think about it. All the reports, the endless email chains, the long meeting transcripts your teams have to sift through. Generative AI can take all of that and condense it into clear, concise summaries. That saves an incredible amount of time and leads to much sharper decision making. Second, and this is what it's famous for, it can create. We're talking about everything from drafting marketing copy and social media posts all the way to brainstorming brand new product ideas. It can be a massive engine for your company's creativity and innovation. Third, it helps you discover. Because it understands natural, human language so well, it can act like an incredibly smart search engine for all your company's internal knowledge. It can find that one specific piece of information you're looking for right when you need it most. And finally, it can automate. And this is where you can find just massive productivity gains. Generative AI can take over all those manual, repetitive tasks that just drain your team's time and energy, freeing them up to focus on the more strategic, high-value work they were actually hired to do. So as we wrap this up, just remember this. Your Gen AI strategy doesn't start with some massive company-wide overhaul. It starts with a single focused question. So I want you to look at your organization, at the endless reports, the creative bottlenecks, the data that's buried somewhere, all those manual tasks. Where are you going to make your first move? What problem are you going to solve first?